Minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. I mean, she made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Friday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. Final local show until game day here in Jacksonville. At least the final local show that you hear Monday through Friday. Pre-game coverage begins 8 a.m. on Sunday here on your home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1010XL. We will obviously have the fifth quarter for you, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Bills go final in the NFL playoffs. The third home game in the NFL playoffs for your Jacksonville Jaguars this century, dating back to the year 2000. What a scene it should be down at Everbank Stadium, and I am certainly excited about it. There is no question about that. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com and Jaguars Radio will join us coming up here in about 15 or so minutes. Of course, you hear JP all over Jaguars Radio Thursday nights, Monday afternoons, all day on game day. Love the work JP does, and he will join us to preview the Jaguars and the Bills on Sunday. Got to give our friends over at Jaguars.com some love as well. The Hunt last night, a 1 hour long episode, an hour's worth of The Hunt on Jaguars.com. It was absolutely fantastic. If you guys have not checked that out, I would highly, highly recommend it. And I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked because The Hunt, the cameras for that show were in the team meeting the day after, the morning after the 19-point collapse against the Houston Texans. For Liam Cohen to allow that access, for them to put that on film and release to you, the Jaguar fans, on Jaguars.com, on the Jacksonville Jaguars social media channels. Sensational theater, man. It was great. Highly recommend it. So we'll have JP Shadrick on to talk about that and certainly preview Buffalo and Jacksonville this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Odds are, if you are a Jaguar fan on social media, at some point this week, you've seen a content creator, a YouTuber named Dan Mitchell. Dan Mitchell is a Buffalo Bills fanatic. He hosts some Bills podcasts, but he has, quite frankly, been over the top with his analysis of Buffalo coming in here and, in his words, having a relatively easy time with Jacksonville. Now, look, if I were 4, 5, 6 years ago, I would have just ripped this guy, right? Just ripped him. But I'm 42 now. I'm not that 35-year-old guy, certainly that 25 or 30-year-old guy. I like to think I'm a little older, a little wiser. So I reached out to Dan Mitchell, a Buffalo Bills content creator, podcast host, and had a very, what I would say, pleasant 13, 14-minute conversation with him. There were pleasantries exchanged. We got into it a handful of times. But for somebody to be so over the top with analytics and numbers and all the data as to why he thinks Buffalo is going to come in here and win, he's been all over my timeline. I can imagine he's been all over yours as well if you are a Jaguar fan, particularly that frequents Twitter a bunch. I think you'll enjoy the conversation. So Dan Mitchell, a Buffalo Bills content creator, podcaster, podcast host, he joins us coming up here in less than 35 minutes. We'll also have Steve Palazzolo of the Check the Mic podcast and the 33rd team coming up later on in the 9 o'clock hour. Bottom line, Jacksonville, it's a busy night. We're with you till 10 o'clock. As always, we are glad you are spending part of your Friday evening with us. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
All right. So, prediction time. There's been so much analysis of this game, so many things that I'm sure you've heard on every show here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hopefully you've listened to my show all week. We've done the, well, what would your thoughts be if Jacksonville loses? We've done the, would you have believed it? Back in July, the Jaguars would be 13-4. We've done the Josh Allen versus Trevor Lawrence. We've hit this game from a lot of different aspects, right? No question about that. But now here we are. Final show of the week, Friday. Kickoff is well inside of 48 hours away. It's time to give some predictions. It's time to tell you what I think is going to happen between Jacksonville and Buffalo coming up this Sunday at Everbank Stadium. This, to me, is a lot like Denver. And what I mean by that was that entire week, I was almost going to force myself to pick the Denver Broncos. And why was I going to force myself to pick the Denver Broncos? Well, it's simple. Because Jacksonville, when you see the logo, when you know the history of the franchise, the history of the organization, anything that can happen negatively will happen negatively to the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? The Jaguars are going to Jaguar. We've heard it all. But then I almost had to slap myself in the face. Kind of like Emeril Lagasse back in the day. Self. That's not this team, right? That's not this 2025 version of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This Jaguar football team is good. Dare I say, the best in the AFC coming into the playoffs. So I picked Jacksonville to go into Denver and win. Did I feel confident about that? Not necessarily. But I went against my own negative thinking because I was only going to pick Denver because of the past. Well, obviously the past doesn't matter, and I had to convince myself of that. And the Jaguars went to Mile High and, quite frankly, put a number on the Denver Broncos. Beat them up pretty good. It was 34-20. I think the Jaguars probably outplayed Denver by more than that. Fast forward to right now. Jaguars-Bills, Sunday, 1 o'clock. I agree that Josh Allen, when he's on, is going to be the best player on the field on Sunday. I don't know how much debate there is to that. I will give Josh Allen his flowers. When the Buffalo Bills quarterback is playing well and he's, quote, on, he's probably the best player in football. Or at least he has the potential to be every time he plays to his capability. I also agree that James Cook, the NFL rushing champion, darn good player. Buffalo's got a lot of good players. You think about Greg Rousseau. You think about Christian Benford. You think about, Jordan Poyer, Matt Milano, Joey Bosa. Good players. Dalton Kincaid, good player. Josh Allen, the best player on the field. But they don't have the best team. They don't. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a better football team in 2025 than the Buffalo Bills are. If we're going to sit here and if we're going to say, if he's on, Josh Allen is the best player on the field come Sunday, okay. Well, then in the interest of fairness, if the Jacksonville Jaguars are on and play up to their capabilities, they as a whole are a better football team than the Buffalo Bills. Bills have the best player. I believe the Jaguars have the best team between the two on Sunday. Is it going to be easy? Nope. Is Josh Allen and Buffalo going to score? Yep. Will you be biting your nails in the fourth quarter? Probably. But we have to get it out of our mind. I do, you do, collectively we have to get out of our mind the Jaguars are going to Jaguar. Not this year. If they play up to their capabilities, if they play football the way they have played football for the last 2 months, they will beat the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars 31. Give me the Buffalo Bills 23. And I think we are celebrating here in Jacksonville, Florida on Sunday. And what a win it would be to advance to the AFC divisional playoffs. I did mention earlier we will be doing a fifth quarter Sunday evening, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Bills go final. Myself, the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, and the coach Gerald Ingram, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock roughly on Sunday evening. We will also, on Sunday, have a Duval recap for you right when the game goes final, or just about moments after the game goes final. Myself and the voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Frank Frangie, will be live on the 1010XL social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, for the Duval recap right after the game. So I'm looking forward to the Duval recap and also the fifth quarter on Sunday evening. And I truly, truly hope that my prediction is correct and that we are celebrating a big W here in Jacksonville, Florida on Sunday night. Again, give me Jacksonville 31. Give me Buffalo 23. Your predictions on the game, feel free to hit me up on the text line, 904-641-1010, 904-641-1010. Of course, the text line is brought to you by our friends at Lifetime Enclosures. Coming up next, my buddy JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com. Jaguars Radio, let's preview Jags Bills. Let's talk about the hunt that aired on Jaguars.com last night. Let's talk with JP Shadrick next on a Friday evening here in Northeast Florida. By the way, Oregon has tied the game. We got a doozy last night between Miami and Ole Miss. Of course, Miami winning, advancing to the national championship game where they will get the luxury of playing on their home field in Miami, Florida against the winner of tonight's Indiana-Oregon game. Indiana had a pick six on the first play of the game. Oregon responded with a touchdown drive of their own. Indiana has moved the ball into Oregon territory. They're now at the Oregon 27-yard line. Middle part of the first quarter, 7-7 Oregon and Indiana. We will keep you updated. JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com, Jaguars Radio, next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
Offense puts people in seats. Points put teams in the playoffs. Who will be this week's Offensive Player of the Game on 1010XL? Nailed down by Universal Roofing Contracting.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville, oysters, and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
Hi, this is Dale Murray with Murray Automotive Group in Stark and Kingsland. Save yourself from those big city dealers and their fast-talking mumbo-jumbo. No matter what your automotive need is, we've got you covered. Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and nobody beats our prices. I mean nobody. Shazam! Plus our exclusive 15-year, 150,000-mile warranty included on every qualified vehicle. And we'll trade anything from high heels to wagon wheels. Compare our prices online at ShazamAuto.com. Then come see me, Dale Murray. I'll be waiting for you. Shazam!
Tom McManus buckles his chin strap as he joins Lauren Brooks and Taylor Dahl.
I just love a man in uniform.
Helmets and heels. Afternoons 2 to 4. Served by Queen Law Group on 1010XL.
It's January. You turn on the hot water, expecting steam, and you get let down. That's usually a sign your tankless water heater is loaded with mineral buildup, slowing it down and wearing it out before it's time. So Duck Duck Rooter is kicking the new year off strong with a Start Fresh Tankless Flush. Their experienced technicians flush and clean your tankless system, restoring performance and getting you back in the game. Right now, get your tankless water heater flushed and cleaned for just $99. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, is that a turtleneck? Can't you feel it, Jason? There's a chill in the air, a definite nip. I mean, it is January. In Jacksonville, Jason. I didn't come here for cold. Well, I wouldn't call this. Cold weather gives me the sniffles. Sniffles turns to pneumonia. Suddenly, I'm in a hospital bed with a tube down my throat because Florida didn't get the memo about ignoring winter. So, switch over to heat. What if my system can't remember how to heat? Dude, put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing can make sure your system is ready to switch from cooling to heat. We'll clean your heating coil to get rid of that burning dust smell and make sure you have the coolant pressure to keep your heat pump pumping out the heat. Huh, I had no idea these sunglasses worked in the winter.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rate to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rate in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Prosser here, and with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. So don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out your high-interest debt. 904-999-1508. And you can see how much cash you can get today. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Jacksonville Icemen are back home this Friday, January 9th, as they battle the Orlando Solar Bears. Friday is Cowabunga Night, a theme night that pays tribute to Jacksonville's cattle days when the city was called Cowford. So celebrate the region's cowboy roots and beachside vibes. Game time 7 o'clock at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksonvilleIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #FireWithin.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing.
Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great, but I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Jaguars, Bills, Sunday, 1 o'clock, NFL playoffs. Of course, you will hear the game right here on 1010XL, and, of course, 3 hours prior to that ball game, 10 a.m., the Jaguars radio network will take over, and that's where you hear my buddy JP Shadrick all over Jaguars radio and Jaguars.com, and JP's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. JP, how we doing, man?
Well, doing well, man. Playoff football's here. Jaguars, Bills, third time ever in the playoffs between these two. The first two went pretty well also. So hopefully to make it a trifecta this week.
You know, one thing I'm asking everybody this week, and rewind the clock back to late July. I think it was July 23rd, roughly, when training camp began. JP, if I would have told you back then, 13-4, winners of 8 in a row to end the year, and AFC South champions, what would you have said?
Well, I mean, I would have said I don't know if I'd call you crazy, but that's a good one. What would I have said to you? Yeah, let's see. Let's see how this goes. I think is probably what I would have said back then, because you just didn't know what the operation was going to feel like. I mean, it's a first-year head coach, new leadership around it with Baselli and Gladstone. What are they? What's the feel? They've done some things in free agency, but not a big splash. They're getting some key guys for some spots. What can they figure out the quarterback? Is he going to get a new offense? There's so many questions. What's the defense going to look like? They were terrible last year. Are they going to be even better or the same or like middle of the pack? What's the feel? So there's just all these questions because you just didn't know. So they knew they had some talent on the team. It was talented enough. They had some players that could play. But could they put it all together and do it like this? I don't think anybody envisioned 13. I mean, that's a big number. That's the second most wins in franchise history. I mean, I think a lot of people, and Hack, you're there too. I'm going to guess it was probably 7 to 9 wins. It's probably what everybody was thinking would be a really good start to this regime and this organization, right? But they just kept on going. They found a way, and they keep getting better and better each week. And they've unlocked the quarterback, and the defense is playing out of their minds, and it's all come together at the right time.
Yeah, I had them 9-8, and I thought I was being generous. I mean, 13 was not in my realm of thinking at all. And along those same lines, now that they are 13-4, well, Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, Tony Baselli. I know you have Baselli and Gladstone on every week on Jaguars HQ, which I love, by the way. How did they do this in year number 1? I mean, how did we get here?
I mean, they made some key choices in free agency, right? Guys, veteran players on defense in the back end, Eric Murray, Jordan Lewis, those guys have been huge for what they do in the secondary. And of course, they Liam brought in his coaching staff to really revamp the defense, and Campanelli and the way they play defense is huge. And then they just kind of had faith as the season went along, and the physicality. That's what they wanted to be in training camp. Hey, we're going to be a physical team. That's one of the tenets of this group. We're going to out physical you on both sides of the ball. And they've done that a lot of this season. And then as it's gone along, the maturation of the quarterback has continued to grow. And that's the number one priority for the head coach, I think, is to get that quarterback spot figured out. And the whole coaching staff has been key in that, from Udinski down to Waldron, the pass game coordinator, Whipple, the quarterbacks coach. They all have a hand in it. They have a great organization of how to communicate back and forth with the quarterback. And you know what? We saw the growing pains of that as it went along early in the season. Remember Liam's yelling at Trevor, and Trevor's waving him off on the field. And in Cincinnati, that was early in the season. And that has developed, and that's just part of the lore of what has happened between these two. And now it's just a comfort level, and he has really let it loose, and I think that's really been the big change.
JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com and Jaguars Radio. Of course, Jaguars Bills Sunday, 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. You know, talking about Liam Cohen, you've been around there a long time, well over a decade with the Jacksonville Jaguars, JP. You've seen quite a few head coaches come in and out of there. I got to tell you, man, he's lived in Northeast Florida for all of 11 months. The fan base loves him. Now, the fan base loves him because he's winning, obviously. That's a big, big part of it. But the relatability, I mean, you know, he says stuff publicly that Jaguar fans have been saying for years, you know, at sports bars and around water coolers, the small market stuff with Sean Payton, you know, the one Pro Bowler with a 13-4 team, which is a joke, the home underdog in the playoffs. I mean, the fans love Cohen because I think he says things that they've been thinking for years.
Yeah, and that's just his normal personality. I don't think that he's just trying to appease anybody. I think that just comes natural to him anyway in his regular life and what he does in coaching that he's done before. I think he keeps a list And I think he keeps score of all these things. And when it's time to chirp back and snap back, he's not scared to pull the trigger and do that. And that's a little different than some of the personalities we've had around here before. And that's fine. A lot of the other guys are maybe that in private, but then have a public face and kind of calm it down and more conservative, at least publicly. Liam lets it fly. That's just, that's him being him. And that it goes back to James Gladstone talking about, hey, as part of the organization, we brought you in here to be who you are, and no more, no less, and help us in this organization. And that's what Liam does. I mean, he's not changing his personality. He is, he's got that youthful exuberance about him too, and a chip in his shoulder. He wants to prove everybody that he's the right man for this head coaching job. And I think that motivates him every single day.
I want to get to the Bills game, obviously, with you in a moment, JP, but a thought on Trevor Lawrence. You and I last spoke on air beginning of December, and at that point, the streak was just really starting. But my goodness, in the last 4 or 5 games, Trevor Lawrence has been incredible, quite frankly, playing some of the best football of any quarterback in the National Football League. Certainly Cohen gets a lot of credit for that. But what have you seen from Trevor as to why all of a sudden he looks like the guy they drafted from Clemson?
Well, I think there's, as the season has gone, right? I mean, they had earlier in the season some drops. Guys were lining up wrong. Travis Hunter was having a few issues with that. Obviously, Brian Thomas was dropping the football a bunch. They just were going through some fits and starts offensively, and it just didn't click. And he just didn't have confidence when he would throw it down the field, so that would cause him to double clutch or go to the next read, or just didn't look smooth, and kind of, we're scared to make a mistake. There's some of that too. Like, oh, I've got to go do this now because I can't trust. Well, since all that changed mid-season, Jacoby Myers comes in, Mr. Reliable. Brian Thomas Jr. has improved as the season has gone on, though he was having those early struggles. Parker Washington's become a go-to guy. Brenton Strange got back in the lineup at tight end. Well, he can anticipate throws now. Hey, I can throw this ball before he makes his break. I don't have to worry about him breaking at the right time. I know Jacoby Myers is going to be where he needs to be, and most times he's going to catch the football. So, and the whole let it rip conversation all kind of came at the same time, middle of the season. So, yeah, he's anticipating throws. He's confident in the throw. And then he's using his legs where he has to, and is really kind of let loose. And the personality is let loose as well. We've seen that off the field. So it's really remarkable to see what he's done the last month and a half, mainly. And now, everybody gets to see it in the playoffs. This should be a fun head-to-head matchup with him and Josh Allen this coming Sunday.
Couple of more for JP Shadrick of Jaguars.com, and of course you hear him all over Jaguars radio. All right, JP, Buffalo, Sunday, 1 o'clock. You mentioned Josh Allen. Look, I mean, it is what it is. You got to go through Josh Allen to get to where you want to be. Jacksonville is a home underdog. At least they were at last check, although it is getting a little tighter in some of the betting lines. Hopefully, Liam won't mention that to the guys. Hey, they're still a home underdog. We'll go with that. But what is your overall thought on this matchup? Because certainly on paper, it looks like the toughest game to pick of the weekend in the NFL playoffs.
I think it's a great matchup. I think it's obviously we talked about the quarterbacks. Josh Allen's been there so many times, so close to it, but Kansas City always seems to get him. 4 of the last 5 they've lost in the playoffs have been to Kansas City. Now the Chiefs are out of it, so there's an expectation up there that, okay, now this is the time for Josh Allen to make that run. But they got to go through Jacksonville, too. I mean, this is not just, hey, the Jags have to go through Buffalo. This is a different Jaguars team that rolled up there on Monday night last year and got throttled. So that's what everybody in Buffalo is thinking, is that. Different team, different world now. I think this Jaguars team is ready to roll, and they can do it against any kind of team they line up against, because they've done it against every kind of team they've lined up against this season. Why would this one be any different? It'll be a good, tough, physical game, certainly on defense for the Jags against this run game. They really scheme it well. They're a very powerful group up front on the offensive line, and the Jags have been great against it all year. And then on the offense, I think the Jags have the opportunity to run the football early to establish it and then try to have that balance as the game goes. But this is a week they need to run against a group on defense that hasn't stopped the run especially well all year in Buffalo. But I mean, this is it. Playoff football, man. No tomorrow. If you lose, you go into Cancun. If you win, you go on to next week. So here we are. It's good to be back in it.
Oh, there's no doubt. You know, knock on wood, the Jaguars are remarkably healthy for this point of the year. I mean, obviously the season-ending IRs with Travis Hunter and Jordan Lewis, but of the guys that are not on season-ending IR, only one guy did not practice in any capacity yesterday, and that was Cole Van Lanen. Now, that's certainly a big one, but, I mean, one would think if Macari's back, you put Macari at right guard, you move Walker Little to left tackle, and then you got basically your starting offensive line that you had at the beginning of the year. The Jaguars have always been decimated by injuries, at least in recent memory. JP, they are remarkably healthy coming into this game.
No doubt about it, man. And you know what? I don't think the offensive line thing even scares them this week. If Cole Van Lanen cannot go or Patrick McCary cannot go, they have confidence in Walker Little playing at left, like you said, and then Wyatt Milam would probably step in there at right guard, or Chuma Edoga, who's played a lot of football. I mean, you got to remember, Hacker, they've had 8 different starting offensive line combinations this year. And if Milam starts, it would be their 9th. That's a lot of change. And you know what? They've been pretty damn good with all of them. So they're confident in everything they put out there right now. And we'll see what happens on the report after Friday.
Final moments with JP Shadrick. As we wrap up, JP, the home aspect. Look, it is what it is. Bills Mafia, to their credit, they travel. They get into any NFL stadium. There will be some red in the stands on Sunday. But the excitement in this city, man, I cannot wait to see what Everbank Stadium is like Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Overflow crowd, standing room only. Could be the last opportunity in the stadium as we know it. If the Jaguars have to go on the road from here the rest of the way, then, of course, next year the upper deck's going to be unavailable. So it'll be a lower bowl only experience next season and then away from here in 2027. So there's all that as well. But, boy, it is a fever pitch in the city. Everywhere you go, I mean, I know you feel it too, Hacker, but it's like everywhere I go, from Publix to the UNF game last night to – all these things, it is all Jaguars all the time, which it should be, especially if they're playing well and earning it. And they are. And this is, don't worry about the Bills fans. They'll be leaving at the end of the third quarter anyway.
That's exactly right. JP, I know it's a busy time for you. What do you have coming up Sunday on the Publix Tailgate Show beginning at 10 a.m.?
Yeah, we got a lot. I mean, we got Shane Waldron, the passing game coordinator for the Jaguars with Brian Sexton. We got Trayvon Walker. I've got Jim Nance of CBS Sports, and we'll dig into the AFC playoff race as wide open as it's been for about 15 years without the Patriots, the original Patriots dynasty, and the Chiefs. Both of those teams are out of it. Patriots are in it, new group now. But the last 14 years, it's been Patriots or Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And so it's a different world. We'll get to Jim Nance on that. Of course, Trevor Lawrence was Kanani Stevens this week. Had a sit down. So a lot coming up on Publix Tailgate Show at 10 and then countdown to kickoff at noon.
And by the way, Jaguars.com last night, The Hunt, that was pure cinema. That was an hour's worth production. And JP, it was fantastic.
Oh, they do a great job. Gabby Dalton kind of headed up this one. It's the longest episode yet, about an hour long. And it goes from everything from the Houston loss all the way up to the division title. And behind the scenes footage, team meetings, locker room access you don't get anywhere else. It's a must watch for any Jaguar fan.
The fact that Liam Cohen let cameras in there for that team meeting after that 19-point collapse is almost insane to me, but it was unbelievable to watch. I recommend any Jaguar fan go to YouTube, find The Hunt last night. It was spectacular.
Well, that's where the season turned, Hack. There's no doubt about it. That's where, and that was the moment in that locker room or in that team meeting. It feels like, okay, we're going one or two ways here, and they went the right way.
JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com and Jaguars Radio. JP, thank you for the time, buddy. We'll be listening to you on Sunday.
All right, Hacker. Always a pleasure, man.
There you go. JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com, Jaguars Radio. And again, The Hunt last night, awesome. Check it out this weekend. Watch it. It's an hour, so dedicate some time to it, but it was terrific stuff by our friends over there with Jaguars.com. College football playoff semifinal. We already know Miami will be playing for the national championship next week. The question is, who is their opponent going to be? Well, Indiana and Oregon are going to settle that. It was 7-7. Indiana has gone on top 14-7, and Oregon did just force a punt. They're going to start deep in their own territory, but Indiana 14, Oregon 7 in the college football playoff semifinal. Again, the winner tonight will play Miami 1 week from next Monday for the college football national championship. Back into the Jaguars. If you're a Jaguar fan on social media, particularly on Twitter, odds are at some point this week you have come across a guy named Dan Mitchell. Dan Mitchell is a Buffalo Bills podcast host. He's a content creator. Quite frankly, he's ruffled some feathers. He got my attention for so over the top in his analysis. And again, as I said earlier, if this was a younger version of me, I might have just ripped the guy. But instead, now at the old age of 42, I contacted him. We had some dialogue, and I said, come on my show and explain why you think Buffalo is going to have such an easy time of it with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Dan agreed, and he joins me next. We'll get the Bills side of things with, admittedly, a guy who thinks Buffalo is going to come in here and have a relatively easy time of it. Dan Mitchell hosts many Buffalo Bills podcasts. He is a content creator, a YouTuber for the Buffalo Bills, and he joins me next. On a Friday night here in Northeast Florida, we're glad you're with us. Till 10 o'clock, it's Hacker After Dark.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Happy New Year, sports fans. Hicken here, and let's keep the skincare talk going while we ring in the new year. I know it's winter, a little cold outside. That sun is still shining, so let's always be reminded to take care of our skin. Beaches Dermatology now has a new location open in Fernandina. So if you live just a little north of Duval, you can now see the pros at Beaches Dermatology without having to make the drive to Jax. Go online to beachesdermatology.com to book your skincare appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Bud Light and everyone at Anheuser-Busch want to remind you to get home safely every time. People are counting on you, on the road and at home. Plan ahead with safe rides, and don't forget to hydrate between beers. Bud Light encourages everyone to enjoy responsibly and socialize safely.
Hey folks, it's Frank Frangie for Lee and Kate's Glass, and I think you deserve a spa-like shower, don't you? Get rid of that dirty, dated setup you have in your bathroom. Those old-style showers can be really ugly. Install a gorgeous frameless shower with thick, sexy glass and a free diamond coating protection that's easier to clean, like Rain-X for your shower. Your bathroom will feel like a luxury spa every morning and night. You deserve it. Visit my friends at leeandkatesglass.com.
You're gonna see a big difference. Checkmate.
I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the adorable chess man on the trucks.
There are two things you should ask yourself about your garage floor. How clean is it now, and how clean would you like it to be? A typical bare concrete floor doesn't just collect dirt, it makes dirt.
It is literally made of dirt.
As much as you sweep and mop, the dust and grit just never ends.
And drips from your car seep into the pores, staining the concrete forever.
A Checkmate multi-layer floor resists drips and stains. It comes in your choice of dozens of colors and sweeps up sparkling clean in just seconds.
No need to wear shoes in the garage and track dirt back in the house.
Gorgeous?
Check. Durable?
Check. Tidy enough to walk on wearing clean white socks? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com. That's CheckmateCoatings.com.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your National Builder of the Year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
This is Dave Barker with IHRS. Are you frustrated with those trendy pills and lotions that claim to make your hair thicker and fuller? Tired of your hair falling out? Our hair restoration solutions have helped over 10,000 men and women restore their hair in as little as 2 office visits.
Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477 or go to hairforme.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Jaguars, Bills, NFL playoffs, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear it right here on the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1010XL. Now, if you are a Jaguar fan on social media, odds are at some point this week you've checked out some stuff from my next guest. He is a guy up in Buffalo, a popular figure when it comes to Buffalo Bills fans, and he is very, very, I would say, overly optimistic about the Bills' chances coming in here on Sunday. He's kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Dan Mitchell. Dan does a lot of stuff on YouTube. He's a content creator, a Buffalo Bills fan, and Dan is with us here on 1010XL. Dan, how we doing, pal?
What's going on, Ryan? I'm clearly the public enemy number one in the city of Jacksonville, but I'm glad that we're able to set the record straight, and hopefully I'll win over a few people by the end of this.
And we'll get into the game in a moment. I don't know how familiar you were with Jaguars Twitter before this week, but clearly some of your stances about the game and your optimism towards Buffalo's chances down here has gotten the attention of some Jaguar fans. I'm sure your Twitter feed has been blown up this week, huh?
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, man, I've been doing this for about 4 to 5 years. I don't read comments at all, right? I have stopped doing that about 2 to 3 years ago, just because I've noticed a lot of people in my position, like when they're starting off in content creation, a lot of the times they end up curbing their takes based off of what the public wants you to say. So as long as I can stay as authentic as humanly possible, I typically try to stay away from reading really anything. I've gotten a couple, which is good. Like when I clear notifications, it's very clear that people are not a big fan of myself and think that Jacksonville is going to walk out with a victory. And I'm not mad. Listen, I feel like every fan base should choose their team and like be super optimistic about it.
Well, look, the bottom line is everybody has opinions, and certainly no opinions are wrong because they are your opinions. So let's get into the game on Sunday. Now, you've put out, I'll give you credit, man. You put out video after video after video regarding this Bills-Jaguars game. You have put out a lot of content this week, and most of it, I would say, is fair to say anti-Jaguar and pro-Buffalo Bill. Dan, what gives you so much confidence that the Bills are going to come in here on Sunday and get the W?
So I got to tell you what, man, I actually got quite a bit of flack within my own fan base about midway through the season because with that was definitely a lot of with the question marks of what was wrong with this Buffalo Bills offense toward midway through the season. A lot of Bills fans thought it was wide receivers. A lot of Buffalo Bills fans thought that this was like the offensive coordinator, for example. But the real issue with the Buffalo Bills offense during that little lull was turnovers. You ended up looking at each and every single loss that the Buffalo Bills put on the table this year. It was on average about 2.4 turnovers per game, opposed to when you ultimately ended up seeing out of all of our wins, we were sitting at about 0.5 turnovers per game. So with that being said, and understanding how Josh Allen comes into this game being one of the best playoff quarterbacks statistically, particularly when it comes into touchdown and interception ratio, my thought going into this AFC playoff landscape has been if Buffalo continues that trend and plays complimentary, clean, turnover-free football, which is going to be no tall task with this Jaguars defense, nobody in this AFC landscape can beat us when Buffalo is playing at their best.
And look, I don't think there's anything wrong with that opinion. I mean, Josh Allen has had great success in the playoffs. Dan Mitchell here with us, YouTuber, content creator, Buffalo Bills fanatic, if you will. And again, if you're a Jaguar fan on social media and you've looked at Buffalo Bills content this week, I have no doubt you've seen some videos of Dan. And Dan, truth be told, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would have probably come on here and read you the riot act. But as I've gotten wiser, a little more mature, it's all about conversation now. It's all about getting to know somebody, which I appreciate you coming on. And there's nothing wrong with that opinion. And you're strongly convicted in that opinion. I guess my question to you is, great Bills team, 12-5. Certainly there's no doubt. But this does not appear on paper to be as good a Buffalo Bills roster as maybe they've had in years past, correct?
Mm-hmm. So it really depends on how you look at what really goes into a quality roster within the league. For me, I've never really bought into that fact that you need a quality wide receiver number one when it comes into having an elite offense. In my eyes, when I look at this Buffalo Bills squad, we have one of the best offensive lines right in the NFL with run blocking and pass protection. We have some of the best tight ends in the NFL on this squad. We have Josh Allen as the quarterback. And more importantly, we have the rushing leader within this organization. Like it or not, throughout these past 2 years, while things haven't been perceivably sexy with downfield passing, we've seen Josh Allen do that in previous years, but he's efficient. He's taking all of these things underneath. We're top 5 in yards after the catch, and we're still finishing in the top 5 in points scored on a regular basis. So, trust me, I would love a Parker Washington on my team that would be able to be that deep threat, or a Jacoby Myers that's your gotta have it third down offense safety blanket for the QB. But it's working in Buffalo, and when you have the best quarterback on the planet on your team, I think that what he has around him is certainly enough. And in my eyes, I think he has no excuse.
And again, among Jaguar Twitter, you certainly ruffled some feathers. And one of the things that I've heard is, well, I bet this guy has never watched a down of Jaguar football. I don't believe that to be the case, Dan. You sound pretty knowledgeable. I'm just curious from your point of view. Obviously, most of your content this week has been, I guess, anti-Jaguar, but I'm sure you appreciate a 13-4 record and winners of 8 in a row.
For sure. Listen, one thing I do want to set the record straight with the people listening here, I don't think that the Jaguars are a bad football team. In fact, I think whoever wins this game is going to be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. My only point was that while people are saying that the Jacksonville Jaguars were an awful matchup for the Buffalo Bills, I think out of this playoff landscape, the Buffalo Bills are by and large the most difficult matchup for the Jaguars. If there was an alternate reality where Jacksonville ended up getting that second seed, I believe that the AFC Championship would have been the Buffalo Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars, but unfortunately, that's just how the seeding fell. So no disrespect to what this team is, I just think that what Buffalo does well, and when you point out some of the weaknesses on the Jacksonville Jaguars team, that's exactly what I see being exploited.
Final moments with YouTuber, content creator, and Bills fan Dan Mitchell. Dan, I've heard a lot of talk this week nationally if Buffalo loses, what that may mean for the future of Sean McDermott and that organization up there. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, so my thought is I normally try not to get into that conversation because while I could feel a certain type of way of whether or not I think it would be beneficial to move on, I know this ownership. And this ownership knows what the drought was like over in Buffalo, 17 straight years without a playoff appearance. And I think they end up looking at that and compared to what Sean McDermott has been able to accomplish. That's not what fans want to see. Fans want to have a guy that has a good chance of coming in and winning this team a Super Bowl. But what the ownership sees is consistency, the second highest win percentage since 2020 among all NFL teams, a team that is regularly in the playoffs, a team that regularly hits the AFC East. So while I don't particularly have an opinion on whether or not I agree that he should stay with this ownership, he's not going anywhere. I really think that it would take a lot more than losing to Jacksonville on Sunday. It would probably be 2 straight years of missing the playoffs entirely before Buffalo even puts that on the table.
For anybody that watches 1 minute of your videos on YouTube, Twitter, social media, anywhere, they know your thoughts on who's going to win the game on Sunday. You've made no bones about that you've picked Buffalo basically since the game was announced or found out Sunday night last week. What kind of game, though, Dan, do you envision here on Sunday?
So let me tell you what, for some reason, this Buffalo Bills team loves to raise my blood pressure, a borderline heart attack each and every single first half. I really think that this team is going to start slow going into the first half. In fact, I have a hyper-specific prediction. So I think Jacksonville goes up 21-7 going into the half. But then going into the third and the fourth quarter, I believe that Buffalo ends up scoring 24 unanswered points and holding Jacksonville to about 3. It's been the same story with this team. On the defensive side of the football, Sean McDermott's your type of coach that likes to see what opposing offenses' pitches are so that he can really rely on those second half adjustments. And for some odd reason with this offense, they just turn it on during the second half. A lot of that has to do with most of the penalties called on the Bills this year have been in the first half that absolutely kill drives. And then they're a bit more disciplined going into the second. But I think a lot of it is going to be your good old typical heart attack type Buffalo Bills football. So say that I were to have a message like for Jags fans and for Bills fans, I wouldn't be celebrating unless you guys have bare minimum a 17-point lead by the fourth quarter.
Now, you say you don't look at a lot of comments, but as a content creator, you know what's coming if Buffalo loses, right? You know what Jaguar Twitter is going to do to your feed, correct?
Yeah. I am not going to read it regardless.
That's probably a safe thing, Dan, to be honest.
Fun fact, though, Ryan, I do live play-by-play reactions on YouTube. So say, for example, you really want to come after me, you could just hop in right to that live play-by-play reaction, and then I will take it like a man.
Like I said, most Jaguar fans listening tonight know of you or have seen your videos this week. For the ones that have not, that want to get a little ticked off before kickoff on Sunday, what's the best way to follow you on social media?
Oh, man, I am at Real Dan Mitchell on all social media platforms. It's Twitter, obviously, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Yeah. You can find me there.
Hey, man, your convictions are strong. You're a Buffalo Bills fan. I can appreciate that. I would say best of luck to you and your team, but there's not a chance I'm going to say that going into Sunday. But I do appreciate you coming on, pal.
Yeah, man, likewise. It was definitely a pleasure.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here, and the cooler weather is upon us. Folks, it's the perfect time to try the new breakfast sandwich from Dandy Foods. A hearty one, too. A twin-pack cinnamon swirl and country sausage. You get the sweet first, then the salty kicks in, and trust me, they are addicting. And you'll find them all at daily stores around town. So the next time you're out and about, stop and get all that deliciousness in less than a minute from Dandy. Just one more reason to go out and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
Florida doesn't ease into the heat. It comes fast and it comes hard. And if your AC barely survived last summer, you're already on borrowed time. That's why Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning wants you to start the year off strong with a new AC system. Make the smart move before summer hits. Right now, get their lowest price of the year, $1,000 off a new AC system when you install by February 28th. Call now to schedule your free estimate and get ahead of the season. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rate to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rate in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Prosser here, and with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. So don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out your high-interest debt. 904-999-1508. And you can see how much cash you can get today. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Before termites attack your home or business and cause costly damage, Terminix it. At Terminix, we know how to stop termites. These destructive pests have been around for millions of years, but before they show up, so do we. And their time is up. Don't live with a termite problem? Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pool. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime, Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. The Indiana Hoosiers.
They just kind of fumbled.
The freaking Indiana Hoosiers are up 28-7 on Oregon. They just turned the Ducks over again. Indiana looking to go up 4 scores in the first half of the Peach Bowl. This is an Oregon Ducks team that beat Texas Tech last week by shutting out the Big 12 champions. And Indiana's about to put 30-plus on them in the first half. Barring what would be a pretty incredible comeback at this point, Indiana will go to 15-0, and they will play Miami next week, or I guess a week from Monday in Miami for the college football national championship. Denmark, what an incredible story brewing there.
Yeah, they are. It's unthinkable to what they've done, the history of their program, and then to go from that to undefeated, heading into a national title, year 2 under a brand new coach that no one really knew 3 years ago. Yeah, there's not words that you can describe there.
Kurt Signetti with a win tonight will go to 26-2 in 2 years at Indiana. And again, I don't think I'm overstating this. I mean, you think about the history of college football, I don't know how many stories would top Indiana going 16-0 and winning a national championship. They would obviously be the first team to ever go 16-0. They are the Indiana Hoosiers. They have a second-year head coach. They have the Heisman Trophy winner who wasn't very good at Cal last year. Remember, Florida State beat Mendoza last year. He was one of the Florida State's 2 wins when he was the quarterback for Cal. And now here we are, the Heisman winner, the coach of the year. They are just blowing out Oregon, who they already beat once this year already. And it appears they're going to be 1 win away from 16-0 and the champions of college football. Boy, how juicy would that be? Miami, Indiana, a week from Monday in South Florida. Denmark, that would be a really, really intriguing matchup.
Yeah, Indiana's the best coached football team in Miami last night, has the most talent. I don't know if you saw the graphic before the game. Miami's got 45, I think it is, or 55. I think it's 55. 4 or 5 stars. Indiana has 8.
Yeah, crazy. So that looks like where we're going, barring an incredible comeback. But again, Indiana pouring it on Oregon right now, 28-7, and Indiana just got the ball right back. Back into the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Steve Palazzolo, one of the hosts of the Check the Mic podcast. He's also part of the 33rd team. Steve will join us coming up here in less than 10 minutes to look at not only the Jaguars and the Bills, but the AFC playoff picture, and also the coach, Gerald Ingram, towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Now, a reminder on Sunday, of course, you'll get the game broadcast right here on 1010XL, 1 o'clock, Jaguars, Bills. Pregame coverage begins at 8 a.m. We will have the 5th quarter for you, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Bills go final. Myself, the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, and the coach Gerald Ingram, roughly about 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. So we do invite you to join us for that as well. And before we even take on the 5th quarter on Sunday, I will be with the play-by-play voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Frank Frangie, on the Duval recap. Moments after the Jaguars and the Bills go final, myself and Frank Frangie will be on the 1010XL social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, moments after the final whistle, as we will give you the recap, the Duval recap, instant reaction for whatever happens between Jacksonville and Buffalo. And then, of course, I will be right here with you again on the 5th quarter. As I said earlier, Josh Allen will be the best player on the field on Sunday. The Jacksonville Jaguars will be the best team on the field on Sunday. I think the Jaguars get it done 31-23, and they advance to the AFC divisional playoff. Denmark, I know talking to you on Monday, you were pretty high on Jacksonville then. Has your thought process changed now at the end of the week, or do you still like the Jags?
He's our Big Mac.
Woo! It's Smash Mouth football, baby!
Tom McManus brings his big opinions to Jaguars Today.
Every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on 1010 XL.
Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
The Jacksonville Icemen are back home this Friday, January 9th, as they battle the Orlando Solar Bears. Friday is Cowabunga Night, a theme night that pays tribute to Jacksonville's cattle days when the city was called Cowford. So celebrate the region's cowboy roots and beachside vibes. Game time 7 o'clock at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksonvilleIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #FireWithin.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 9th, 1972, the longest winning streak in major professional sports is snapped when the Milwaukee Bucks beat the LA Lakers by a final score of 120-104.
Hey, Hicken here for Prize Picks. This week, a special max discount promotion live on the board right now. Caleb Williams has been discounted. He only needs to go for more than a half a pass yard during the Bears-Packers game Saturday. Just add another player to your lineup, and if your pick hits, man, you cash in. Download that Prize Picks app today. Use code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code 1010XL, $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Checkmate.
I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the adorable chess man on the tracks.
There are two things you should ask yourself about your garage floor. How clean is it now, and how clean would you like it to be? A typical bare concrete floor doesn't just collect dirt, it makes dirt.
It is literally made of dirt.
As much as you sweep and mop, the dust and grit just never ends.
And drips from your car seep into the pores, staining the concrete forever.
A Checkmate multi-layer floor resists drips and stains. It comes in your choice of dozens of colors and sweeps up sparkling clean in just seconds.
No need to wear shoes in the garage and track dirt back in the house.
Gorgeous?
Check. Durable?
Check. Tidy enough to walk on wearing clean white socks? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com. That's CheckmateCoatings.com.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision craftsmanship and clean, modern design. From sleek, frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. Super Wild Card Weekend, Jaguars, Bills, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on your home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1010XL. Jaguars, AFC South champions, 13-4 on the year. Buffalo, certainly nothing to sneeze at, comes in at 12-5. Let's talk Jags Bills. Let's look at the rest of the AFC playoff picture as well with Steve Palazzolo of the Check the Mic podcast. Steve is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Steve, how we doing, man?
Doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Hey, Steve, always appreciate the time. Know you're busy this time of year. All right, you and I spoke about a month ago, and certainly the Jaguars have just played better even than the time we talked. If I would have told you early in the season, Steve, 13-4, winners of 8 in a row to go into the postseason, and AFC South champion Jacksonville Jaguars, what would you have said?
Well, early in the season, I may have said maybe, because my initial read on the team was all the turnovers that they were forcing on the defensive side of the ball. Like they won a lot of games without a great offense early in the season, with an inconsistent offense, or at least an inconsistent passing game, with the struggles that Trevor didn't play great early on, and then the drops obviously were a massive factor. Not being on the same page with Brian Thomas Jr., you didn't really have that big wide receiver one type of season that you expected from him. So at the time I was thinking, man, the turnover stuff, that's really tough to sustain, 3 turnovers per game. But the fact that they're winning and doing it without Trevor Lawrence playing at his best, I've seen him play better. I've seen Brian Thomas Jr. play better. So there was a part of me that thought they're just, sneaking these wins in right now, but at some point they could play even better. And it happened. It didn't go exactly